got any property or anything like that? You have any property of any kind? She's not gonna have any property.
Anytime that you start dealing with the narcotics and the volume that we're dealing, there could be some speculation that organized crime is involved. However, the people that we're dealing with at this point are local individuals. As to any organized crime ties at this point, we probably would not want to relate to that.
Now, wait a minute. When Tommy guns fall out.
They're all covered. Lay down on your beds.
Yeah, it's overcrowded. It was designed and built 21 years ago to hold 21 youth. It means we have 21 rooms with a single bed in each room. And this community has grown considerably in 21 years. What served our need then doesn't really serve our need now and hasn't for several years.
Yeah, she's 7 months pregnant. She was in that trailer when it collapsed on top of us.
It's obvious to me, and probably to everyone else, that I cannot achieve compliance with the court order, run the Department of Corrections, and also please Speaker Dan Draper. His effort to eliminate me through an orchestrated and premeditated smear campaign has failed.
Of course, I've made my views known the last 3 or 4 months, and I felt like that his ability to work with the legislature had come to an end and that the state would be better off with a new director. I did not feel that way prior to the convening of this legislative session. In fact, I've been a strong supporter of the department and Dr. Benton prior to January of this year. But in light of what's happened during the current session, I felt like it was time for a change.
And, you know, it's obvious, and I would say that the speaker is going to win every battle. The program of the department. And I don't mean that, I mean, I think that's the motive for... It's obvious to me, and probably to everyone else, that I cannot achieve compliance with the court order, run the Department of Corrections, and also please Speaker Dan Draper. His effort to eliminate me through an orchestrated and premeditated smear campaign has failed.
Of course, I've made my views known the last 3 or 4 months, and I felt like that his ability to work with the legislature had come to an end and that the state would be better off with a new director. I did not feel that way prior to the convening of this legislative session. In fact, I've been a strong supporter of the department and Dr. Benton prior to January of this year. But in light of what's happened during the current session, I felt like it was time for a change.
It's been pretty miserable these last 2 days, nights. No air and food spoilage and different things of that kind, no TV. And we'd sit outdoors to try to get some air. Mosquitoes started biting, had to go back in the house.
Yes, it does make a difference in the rate. Saturday, any day except Friday or Sunday. We have a family plan.
Don't forget to get it, okay? Bye, girl. Bye. Have a good time.
Say municipal courtroom. Deeply respect. One say judge. Here's your headlines. Police claim belabor it. What I want to do is I'm concerned about reappointment. I could not understand and can't now why any judge could find a man guilty of assaulting a woman that was 8.5 months pregnant and then suspending his fine. I believe what she lacks is proper judiciary play. I think we'll all just want a judge that's fair, unbiased.
Out a charge, not rape, not anything else, Mr. Cornet. He wasn't being held for an assault and battery, destroying private. I suggest to you that Jack Cornet should be censured by your body because he is hoodwinking you. He is using his position on the legislative body of our government to give him the strength to go to those judges when and if 15 more events occur and say, I'm here as a private citizen. I certainly hope you'll decide this case the way I want it decided. I am going to hand this, if I may, to you.
Madam Mayor,
Yes, Mr. Cornet.
before Bob Anthony reads this, I think it's really none of his business, my personal life. And if you think so, Bob, well, read it. I think I have nothing to hide. I don't know what this man is trying to send up a smoke screen. I think it's normal that the best way to get something away from the facts is have a diversionary. That's fine.
Madam Mayor, I would like for it to be a part of your written.
Well, obviously, meat will be short this weekend, but I still think there will be adequate supply for the consumers. There's been no particular effect on the wholesale prices, but long term there will be if the supplies continue to be short, and obviously if the cost of fuel goes up, these costs must be passed on. and they will probably be passed on to ultimately to the consumer. Incrementally, the cost will not be very great.
Felt a thud and heard a whine go by the window. So I looked back to see if I'd blown a tire or thrown a cap or something like that. And didn't see anything except for a small pickup. And I didn't really fully realize what had happened right away, and I pulled over to see what the trouble was, and I found the place on my cab where it had been hit. I didn't hear the gunshot or anything, the gun report, but the whine was familiar.
They don't believe that he has been shot. Believe that is glass fragments, but they're still examining him. They don't believe that he has been shot. Believe that is glass fragments, but they're still examining him.
Shot 2 rounds of tear gas into there.
Okay, thank you.
two institutions, Laxton and Joe Hart, resigned from 4th. Today increased our inmate population last week like this.
And we've got some, if he can. So I don't know whether we actually need a. We have suggested that we go with an approximate 7% increase and go to about $34,000. I think that would be something which would be acceptable to the legislature, and I would hope that it would be supported by the Speaker and by the legislature. Be it therefore resolved that the Board of Corrections hereby director to a minimum of $34,000.
We in the League of Women Voters applaud Dr. Benton's efforts. We also commend the Board of Corrections. We appreciate the Board seeking the facts in the current controversy and standing by these facts in the face of political pressure. We urge the Board to seek with all haste a new director of the highest caliber to carry on in the same professional manner as has Dr. Benton. Are involved in work programs and positions. An adequate record-keeping system is
Get the program through not being able to meet our GM payroll. We were able to work those problems.
I'm afraid that's what caused some of the panic buying in California and lately in Texas and some of the eastern states. People see the line and don't realize that the only reason for the line is they've got to get their gas before, say, 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock, whereas before they could have gotten it any time of the day or the night. So cars start lining up, people decide they'd better get in the line, they get in the line, and before you know it, everybody's topping off their tank, and we do actually have a shortage situation.
That really a big worry for us to see that, our Indo-Chinese refugees still in camp, if they are not admitted by the free world countries, because they are threatened to be sent back home or to be expelled out to sea, and they don't know where to go.
You think this go?
I had a lot of ups and downs, and where it's going now, it's going good. But I learned from my downfalls that I had to keep pushing, and it went one way up. And it means a lot to my family. and they're really proud of me.
Administration feel very strong that these people are smuggling at this time. If they're very methodical in their work, is really on them. I'm getting tired about hearing all of the beef up on the Mexican border. I'm getting tired of hearing about all of the federal enforcement agencies down in Texas. I want to hear about all of the beef up of the federal narcotics agents and the U.S. Customs Service in the state of Oklahoma. I've got a problem with drug trafficking in the state of Oklahoma, and I expect some assistance from the federal government on it.
How you feeling now? A little dizzy? All right. Can you tell me about how you feel?
Got me a fucked up partner, can't handle it all. Mike. Okay, I'm gonna throw it up. You ready?
Haven't done anything to be fired for. If I can't stand on my record, then I do not wish to stay here.
I felt proud of being a part of this place, but now I don't. And I'm not sure I'll be here tomorrow.
As far as the warden is concerned,
he's just not fair. That's all I got to say about it. If you lie and lick his hand, you're a nice guy. He likes the better liars, big liars, and that's what he wants.
cannot afford under any circumstances to send a unit in there and get some firefighters hurt because of this. It's difficult enough to fight the fire, put it out, and it's dangerous enough. And of course, what's going to happen is that we're going to have some lives involved from the civilians, and we're not going to be able to get into it and put it out. And that's the tragic part about it. But I will not send my people in if they're going to have this kind of a situation. And of course, it'll be up to the officer in charge to use his judgment as to exactly what he will do under the circumstances. But situations like that, we will not go in until the police arrive.
That this kind of a situation would have occurred. But when people rise up as these, even the order, kids will throw rocks, there'll be dissidents, there'll be individuals who are whatever they want to be, they'll do what they want to do. But we could have dealt with that problem a heck of a lot better had we been informed. Yes, I read the paper, yes, I watch TV, and I saw the reports. I read the reports. The situation is that we didn't get a chance to do what we've normally done, which is to go into group sessions and try and figure out how we can control. We've got all kinds of factions within Northeast Oklahoma City who will do what they can to assist us in keeping a peaceful community.
Okay, thank you. It's dark over there.
Excuse me?
That's just the fence all the way around the whole thing.
They hit me in the head several times, and one did down at the station. Wasn't nobody there but me and him, and he wouldn't even let me out the back seat. He opened the door and got in the back seat with me, and he's just beating. He would just hit me with a club in the back seat. Then they handcuffed me and put me in the car.
Did they beat you?
Explore whatever needed to be explored to alleviate this type of harassment and brutality in our community. Went down to inquire last night. They met me and then the police chief, but he's back over here with the same, and no one's afraid of him. You know, we're just trying to, we're teaching them to serve and sympathy and love and approach them that way. Example, you know, there's never no trouble.
Several times among black and whites.
The same officers on the police department. Right. It seems he just a bit where I can't.
It's a big day in the history of Oklahoma City's urban renewal project. Developers say the groundbreaking symbolizes the beginning of the end of a 4-square-block hole in the middle of the downtown area. It will be an unusual groundbreaking. Developers say they've had so many complaints about the holes down here that they're going to start filling one rather than digging another. It's a project that began some 15 years ago. It's a big day in the history of Oklahoma City's urban renewal project. Developers say the groundbreaking symbolizes the beginning of the end of a 4-square-block hole in the middle of the downtown area. It will be an unusual groundbreaking. Developers say they've had so many complaints about the holes down here that they're going to start filling one rather than digging another. It's a project that began some 15 years ago. Developers say Oklahoma City is standing on the threshold of realizing a dream, a 15-year-old dream of a vital, people-oriented downtown area. A downtown area that will serve as a model for other cities around the country. Mike Rosenthal, News Center 4.
I think perhaps they just think it isn't necessary, that it's another one of the rights that they're taking away from people to shoot firecrackers on the 4th of July. And they do not have the loss from fires and all in the small counties that we do in the congested areas, and I think they're just not interested.
I would tell people have fireworks.
It's mostly because of the fuel crisis, I believe. Since people don't have the gas or the availability of gas to drive long distances, now they're deciding to fly. And because of that, we've really been busy about the last month or so.
Yeah.
Right.
The due process procedure.
Upon our inspections, we give them a reasonable amount of time to correct that violation.
Prescription drugs which are beyond the comprehension of the average person, place-based per child. Comply with health standards for public eating establishments.
A parent would probably better know what is a safe, good place for his or her child than would anybody. Certainly, I think I know about mine. And I don't see any sense in duplicating the law, and that's the very reason why I gave Bob Frank's third a fourth. I think we wasted entirely too much time on it. It's a matter that's up to individual consideration. The parents know, and I don't think many parents, be they marginal or whatever, would take would take their child to someone to keep for them through a day and not believe sincerely that that person would take good care of them and that that facility was adequate.
And that's all there is to it.
A parent would probably better know what is a safe, good place for his or her child than would anybody. It's a matter that's up to individual consideration. And I don't think many parents would take their child to someone to keep for them through a day and not believe sincerely that that person would take good care of them and that that facility was adequate.
The reason this was brought my to enter the premises until financial arrangements are made.
Sure. Some child may fall down a set of stairs without a safety gate, but others will be left in the
Skylab predicted window exists between 10:09 a.m. Central Daylight Time and 12:09 p.m.
As of 08/32, the update on the Skylab is.
Well, no, there's no way we could outguess it. The best brains at NASA and their best computers couldn't tell us, so all we could do was wait and see.
Certainly you can say this, that all threat to the United States is over.
Another thing, too, this particular drop zone just happens to be down at the lower end of the Atlantic missile range. That's where the Air Force has a great deal of its tracking information used for ballistic missiles, as you know.
Maybe longer than they had expected, but the inevitable is inevitable. All right. To Doug Kiker in Washington. Doug? On the next station, which I suppose will be in Australia, I think everybody will be surprised. What they hope is that it'll disappear between now and then, and they'll infer from the data.
Mary Wicks!
Scare me to death.
Oh, I basically feel that he was behind probably due to management problems. He had considerable
trouble organizing, staffing, and equipping for the project. He just apparently wasn't quite ready for it.
Area and in this security
money with Plan A. You are buying the industry.
The architect's fees would total $9,958,000 roughly. We've just been able to look at the plans more. We got a copy of them, and we just felt like that we probably need that much more time now. If we can't have it, well, we can't have it. We'll just have to go to work and knock it out. But we feel like it's realistic. There are other...
You could if you really had to, you could.
But I think that we've made some real... Yes, it's because of the housing unit.